Hey guys, welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. So we've got the update highlights here for patch 3.2. I think it's going to be quite exciting judging by the sound of it. This is my first reaction, so I've just got to the screen, put on my record, and I've not looked at it yet, so I'm just going to have a real look through it. Although I do know one of the champions that's in here so far, and he is the guy that's going to be the fragment, or the fusion fragment thing on Thursday this week, so I'm assuming everything's getting released this Thursday. So I haven't done a video on him specifically because I wanted to make sure that everything that I was actually posting was right about him, and hopefully we're going to get his stats and stuff as well. So yeah, I think there's quite a bit to go through in this highlights. I'm just going to start on right now because there's quite a few new champions I believe, so let's go and have a look. So straight off the bat, this guy is definitely new. Legendary Orcs Attack Force King Garrock. Cool, pretty cool avatar. Let's go through his skills. So his A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 35% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn. It increases to 50 if the target's turn meter is equal or below 50%, so that's pretty cool. Can't book that any higher. Seems not too bad. Hack to Bits is his A2, attacks one enemy 4 times. Each critical hit has a 50% chance of decreasing the cooldown of Goremaker by 1 turn, and that's on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. Needs quite a few books, this guy. I think 14 books altogether. That's quite an investment, so we'll see if he's worth it. So Goremaker, this is going to be what makes him if you're trying to decrease it. So it's on a 3-turn cooldown, attacks all enemies, will ignore 20% of each target's defense. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Will ignore another 5% of defense for each buff on the target. Oof. Okay, that's quite big. That's a big ability there. So basically, I'm just going to read his passive before I give my opinion on this guy, but increases this champion's speed by 6 and critical damage by 7% for each enemy this champion kills in a round. So that's really good for dungeons, Doom Tower, whatnot. Not so good for arena because you just want to kill them. Stacks up to 30% speed and 35% critical damage. Stacks will reset if this champion is killed. That's cool. And he's also got more. Wait a minute. Whenever an enemy champion is revived, fill this champion's turn meter by 30% for each revived enemy. Then places a 50% increased attack and increased critical. Wow. Okay, that's actually pretty useful because the fact that it says each enemy, if you do like a Duchess or an Arbiter and revive all 3 of them, that's 90% turn meter, and it gets increased attack and increased crit damage. Yeah, that's pretty nasty actually. So opinions on this guy, it all depends on his stats and his multipliers. If his multipliers and stats are good, that A3 is going to hit like a truck, and we could see a new AoE for arena and things like that. Definitely going to be good for dungeons, definitely good for clan boss, things like that. Not clan boss, sorry, Doom Tower. The only thing that's making me think a little bit about how hard he hits is because he hits harder the more enemies he kills, so he's going to be a little bit lower multipliers to begin with, and once you kill a few it goes up and up, and he's kind of tied in with, you know, once he's killed a few then they revive, then he comes back and hits even harder type thing, so maybe his initial damage isn't going to be as hard, but we'll just have to see. Exciting champion though, the fact that he's AoE and ignoring defense, you know, and then suddenly if you just stick a savage set on him, that's bunch of defense he's ignoring on an AoE, and if he hits hard, that's super cool. So yeah, seems a really good champion. Moving on to Roxanne, I'm going to nickname her right now. This is going to get the police song Roxanne named after him or her. Right, so it's a magic attack again, lizardmen. Okay, we need more lizardmen, that's good. A1 chroma shift, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of filling this champion's turn meter by 10. Also putting a perfect veil on them if the attack is critical, so cool. He obviously needs veils for some reason. Can buff up the it's not 10% turn meter, is not a lot, but it's not too bad. Attacks one enemy, fills this champion's turn meter by 50%. Okay, that's a good start. And it has a 75% chance of placing the stun debuff on the target for 1 turn when attacking while under a veil or perfect veil. 75% chance of placing a sleep debuff when attacking without a veil or perfect veil. Okay, I get it. So basically it's better when he's under veil or perfect veil, it will stun it. If not, he'll hit a sleep, which is kind of like the poor man's stun. Okay, that's good. Places a perfect veil on this champion for 2 turns after attacking without a veil or perfect veil. So straight off the bat, his A1 and A2 give him veils, so he's obviously pretty easy to get under veil. 3-turn cooldown there. It's a single target, so just have to see what his last one does. So while under a veil or perfect veil buff, so I'm assuming that means you have to be under this to do this skill, is that right? AoE, 75% chance of decreased defense and weaken, wow. And decreases the cooldown of jungle ambush by 2 turns. So suddenly that's on a 2-turn cooldown, that's crazy. If you're not under a perfect veil, it does the same thing, but it puts a perfect veil on by the looks of it. Okay, cool. Right. Okay, and that's on a 4-turn cooldown. Okay. So we've got an AoE decreased defense and weaken, which is like one of the best abilities in the game. Let's just read his last skill quickly. Passive places a block, debuffs, and 25% strengthen buff on a champion for 1 turn, and a 15% continuous heal for 2 turns whenever they receive a veil or perfect veil buff. Okay, this guy just went skyrocketed up in my estimations. He was looking a bit kind of meh, a lot of stuff going on, but then just reading that, like, he's pretty much always going to be getting block debuffs, strengthen, continuous heal, and he's under perfect veils. You can't target him either. That's pretty nuts. That passive is really strong, like really strong. Increase ally critical rate in Doom Tower battles by 23%. Not really that useful, I suppose, but it could be. Okay, thoughts. First thoughts to spring to mind is I'm a little bit. Decreased defense and weaken on an AoE is such a good ability, but I wish they didn't put it in Lizardmen because, well, Draco's in there. There's very few champions that do this AoE, and to stick it in the same faction is a bit of a kick in the teeth, really, to the faction wars people. But hey ho. But I think this guy, I'm gonna have to play with this guy. I can't call it. The last guy's pretty straightforward. If his multipliers are good, he's gonna hit like a truck. He'll be amazing. If not, probably not used. This guy could be pretty nuts. I don't see him being. He's not useful in clan boss. I think he's going to be pretty damn useful. I mean, he places AoE, decreased defense and weaken, don't get me wrong, but there's better champions, you know, like Fane or someone will put poisons on as well. I think he's going to be a bit of a pain in the ass in Arena if you build him right. Depends how hard he hits again. If he hits hard, then yeah, this guy's going to be pretty nuts. I'm thinking a sort of a team with a Duchess, Arbiter, then running like Candrafon and Roxanne, the kind of Veil team, with double revive. That could be quite cool. But yeah, it seems a pretty solid champion. Interesting to see him. Right, onto the Iron Braggle. Now that has got to be a Rocky reference, guys. Anyone seen Ivan Drago and Rocky? That is definitely someone at Plarium has watched Rocky 4, was it? Was it Rocky 4? I think. Maybe Rocky. No, it wasn't Rocky 3. Rocky 3 was with Clubber Lang, Mr. T, I believe. So it's got to be Rocky 4. Iron Braggle. Love the name. Not massively keen on the champion, not going to lie. I've already seen this guy. Like I say, the other two I hadn't seen. This is the champion that's going to be the Fragment Collector champion this Thursday. So I'll go through his skills first anyway. I've read this guy, but A1 attacks one enemy, 20% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs by 1 turn. 30% when booked. Not a huge chance. Is A2 places a 60% increased defense on all allies, then attacks an enemy, 75%, 100% when booked of placing stun. Has 100% booked of placing it for 2 turns if they're under 2 or more buffs. Okay, so that kind of counteracts straight away because you're trying to decrease his buffs with the A1, and then it's better if you do. Anyway, A3 attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke. Also places a 50% decrease attack if he's under increased defense buff. So AoE provoke's always good. It's pretty solid. This is really strong. I think increases defense of all allies by 10% of this champion's defense. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully his base defense is huge, and he's actually got a really good aura for Doom Tower, so that's pretty useful. He's going to be a solid carry for those really tough rounds. Yeah, maybe not boss fights as such, but you know, some of the actual floors on Doom Tower, especially in hard mode, as you get past 100, are pretty tough, some of them. So this guy might actually be pretty useful for that. Things I like about him are definitely the passive. I think that's the only thing that makes me think this guy might be pretty good. 10% of this champion's defense. You know, if he's, yeah, that could be quite a bit. You know, it could be a good, if he's like 1.5, 1.6k defense, that's nearly like 160 flat defense onto people. So that's pretty strong. Things I don't like: books. Read how many books this guy fucking needs. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 17. Is that right? Can I count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 16. Sorry, that's a lot of books though. And that's legendary books. So, and a fragment collector, in my opinion, if you're going to do a fragment, this is someone that everyone can access. So your free-to-play players could potentially get this guy. Now, if you're free to play, you are never going to be spending 16 legendary books on this dude. It's just not going to happen. He's not good enough. It's way too much of an investment, even if he was good enough. So don't like that about him. Have to admit, I'm quite disappointed in this guy. I probably will get him just because he looks like he could be pretty useful for some Doom Tower floors, but I will not be booking him, I don't think, which means he's not that great. But anyway, also his A2 and his A1 kind of counteract each other. Yeah, not spectacular. First two look fantastic, and they look, especially this guy, I really like his kit. I think those two might, King Garrock and Roxanne, might actually be very good. I'm going to have to play with them. I think, depending on their stats and multipliers, but this guy's just average, I'm afraid. Right, going on to the epics. Going to be a little bit quicker here because we're going through epic champions now. So we're melga steel girdle, spirit dwarfs champion. Attacks one enemy, 50% of removing one random debuff from a random ally with like 9 books. That seems terrible. Okay. Why would you put 9 epic books into that? That's straight. I don't like this one already. Places shield buff on all allies, 20% of this enemy's max HP and champion's max HP, and continuous heal on a 3-turn cooldown. Okay, so that's like a Valkyrie without the good counter attack bit, but at least you could use this champion, I suppose, for the Scarab King, because it's 3-turn cooldown, so you can make her faster than everyone. So that's useful-ish. Okay, the A3 revives 2 random allies with 20% HP and 20% turn meter, and places a shield buff equal to 30% of their max HP, increases ally HP in all battles by 15%. Okay, reviving 2 people is awesome. In dwarfs is a game changer. She was looking pretty terrible up until I read that last skill, and now she's definitely going to be your faction wars champion. Yeah, very, very strong for faction wars, that guys. Doom Tower as well, but there's better revivers for Doom Towers. It's not too much of an issue. Yeah, so she's a faction wars champ. Potentially can be used if you don't have another shield champion, but I would say Metal Shaper's better, and he's a rare. Okay, pretty average. Good revive for faction wars. That's about it. Chancellor Yazmin looks pretty naff already. Banner Lords. I'm saying that by the picture. It just doesn't look that appealing. Just kind of looks meh, like a normal person. Attacks one enemy, places an extra hit if the target has no active buffs. Meh. Okay. Support champion, heals an ally by 40% of their max HP, heals by 60% though. Yeah. Okay, this doesn't look great. A3 has a 50% chance of removing all buffs from all enemies, then places a sleep debuff on for 1 turn on enemies who have active buffs. 4-turn cooldown. Okay, so if it doesn't remove them, she sleeps them. So it's kind of like a bad version of Kaimar's, because Kaimar just removes them and sleeps them. Not really sold on this one, guys, I'm not going to lie. Didn't like it off the bat, and I don't really like her. I don't think she's going to be that great. Vogoth, he looks like a reskin of something Cudgeler or something. I'm sure there's a champion in the game that basically looks like that already. So attacks one enemy 3 times, each 30% chance of decreasing. Oh wait a minute. Increasing the duration of a random debuff. Okay, right. I thought that was like Vizier there. I was like, am I reading this right? Okay, so 40%. So that's good. That's a good chance, but it's just 1 random debuff. It's not too bad. It's pretty good for an A1, really. Attacks all enemies, 60% chance of placing a provoke, 60% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack, on enemies for 2 turns on targets who receive the provoke. Okay, AoE provokes good. When this champion is attacked, heals all allies by 50% of the damage received. Only heals by 25% of this, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to see that in action, because like, yeah, just that's a hard one to really figure out until you play with it. Is it gonna be better than having like leech or lifesteal? I doubt it, so it might be okay. I think there's another champion that has this already, but I'm not really sure who it was. So it's passive. Let's see the passive. A2 was on a 3-turn cooldown, by the way. It's just pretty good. When attacked, places a leech debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. That's great. So suddenly, a bunch of healing coming on here. If the attacker is under a provoke debuff placed by this champion, also has a 70%, 100% when booked, of increasing the cooldown of a random skill on the attacker by 2 turns occurs once per attack. That's very strong, actually. You know what? This guy's pretty good, actually. This guy's strong. There's quite a lot going on here. Oh, he's an HP based champion, might be pretty tough. Yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I'm going to build him definitely if I get him. He looks actually really quite interesting. Yeah, really cool. I mean, one random debuff, but it's still, even like in clan boss, you're still going to be increasing like poisons probably up and down. So that's actually, it could be used as a decent clan boss. He's got decreased attack. He's got leech as well if you need some life. Yeah, he's pretty cool. So we've got another epic attack champion from Barbarians, Armina. Attacks one enemy on an A1, 35% chance of placing a stun. I think we've seen this quite a bit before. A2 attacks all enemies, 75% chance of decreased defense and steals turn meter from targets under decreased defense. So I'm assuming that happens after. Okay, so I mean, AoE decreased defense is great. Steals a bit of turn meter, that's good. 3-turn cooldown, I like it. Oh, hang on a minute, look how many books this guy needs again. What is with the books now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's like 15 books altogether. How much was... Damn, yeah. That's one thing I'm noticing. There's a hell of a lot of books going into these champions. That's not good. You know, they used to release the odd few champions with like 6 or 7 books to max them out, you know? Like a Skull Crusher and stuff, and that was really cool for new players, but that's too much of an investment. I mean, yeah, there's no point in giving us extra books player aim if you're just going to increase the amount of books you need to actually max them out. Anyways, so that's that. A3 decreases the turn meters of all allies by 20%, has a 75% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn on enemies who have their turn meters fully. Wow, that's pretty strong. I mean, they have to be quite low turn meter, I guess, to do that, but that seems pretty good. If that goes off, that's a strong ability. That's only a 3-turn cooldown. And he's got a passive, fills this champion's turn meter by 10% each time an enemy receives a stun. Okay, I think he might be quite weak, but he looks pretty cool. He's got a lot of turn meter stuff going on. It's maybe a bit much. If you can land that A3 and decrease someone and stun them, that's very, very strong, because then suddenly he skyrockets and gets a bunch more turn meter. Yeah, I like him. I like him. The epics are looking good so far. Right, our Salah the Mourner. This is an epic avoid champion, so might be quite good. Support, Bannerlords, pretty cool avatar so far, I like it. A1 attacks one enemy, 40% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 10%. 55% when booked. Nah, it's not a massive amount really. Yeah, you know, there's like, what's her name, Allure, does it like basically lowers the turn meter by 30% for each hit, which is like 90%. Armiger's 30%. Then you chuck in a Void Epic that does what, 10%? Doesn't seem... Yeah, that's the opposite of power creep. That's not good. Hopefully the rest of our kit's good. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing decreased attack. Also places increased attack for 2 turns. Yeah, shit ton of books again, guys. What's this? 8 books altogether? Not good, not good. I don't like that. 100% when booked, but that's too many books. Right, last one. Revives all dead allies with 75% HP, then fills their turn meters by 50%, also places 60% increased defense, and wow, 25% strengthen. Jesus. On all allies for 3 turns. Increases ally speed in Doom Tower battles by 24. Okay, our first 2 were meh, our last 2 are like overpowered beyond belief. That is one of the best, if not the best revive in the game, I believe. That's nuts. Increased defense and strengthen is like easily my favorite buff at the moment. It's so strong. Since I've been using Lydia, I've realized how strong strengthen actually is, because there wasn't that many champions. I think it was only the Frost King dude that actually had it really for a while, and nobody really used him. 5 turn cooldown. That is a very, very, very strong revive. 75%, big turn meter fill, massive strength and buff, decreased defense, increased defense. Wow. And also that's a very relevant speed aura in Doom Tower battles. I've been using High Cthulhu quite a lot in Doom Tower, purely for the 19% speed increase, so 24 is an upgrade, and she's got a fantastic revive. Yeah, she's very, 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 very good. Extremely good actually. Bit of a lackluster first one, but really cool champion. I like that a lot. Wow, really, really good epics today, guys. Yeah, this is pretty impressive. Okay, Annex. We've got a lot of reading to do in this one, so let's go. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing decreased defense. Cool. 2 times, that's always a bonus. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 75%, 100% when booked. Again, look at the books here, guys. This is the one thing that's really letting these guys down. Placing decreased accuracy and 5% poison debuff for 3 turns. Okay, it's 100%, so if you're doing it 2 times, that's 2 poisons, which is pretty decent. Decreased defense and a couple of poisons. Suddenly it's not a bad clan boss champion. Oh, wait a minute. And attacks one enemy, 75% chance of placing weaken, the big one, and heals his champion, and it's 100% when booked. Okay, so this guy's, to me, is a decent option for clan boss if you don't have other stuff. He's kind of like a pseudo feign, I guess. He puts on decreased defense and weaken throughout 2 skills, but he's going to be using them anyway. And he puts on 2 poisons every 3 turns. If you have the accuracy, he's got a passive effect. Places 60% increased defense on this champion when HP drops below 75. Increased attack when below 50. Okay, I would have done that the other way around, you know, because when you go below 50 you want that increased defense surely, and then when you're going below 75 you could get away with the increased attack more. It seems a bit strange, but oh well. Grants an extra turn when this champion's HP drops below 10. 5 turn cooldown for that. Okay, that's a strange one. I wonder, does that just kick in on his, you know, if someone attacks and he goes below 10%, does that just kick in on his next turn? I'll have to see that work. This guy looks pretty interesting actually, and I think he'd be quite a decent clan boss choice if you don't have anything else. Yeah, seems pretty good. Another good epic, I believe. Fakran the Fat. I like the name. I like the name a lot. Hey, we got a fat chubby barbarian. His attack again. A lot of attack champions. Not as many books this time, thank God. Still quite a lot though. That's like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 books. That's bad when 12 books doesn't seem a lot. That used to be loads. So attacks one enemy, 40% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense. Did we not just see that? Yeah, it's basically the same as the last guy. Okay, attacks another one enemy, HP burn and 2 poisons. This only attacks one enemy though, so it's not great. Maybe decent for Frost Spider. 30% increased critical rate and 30% increased crit damage on all allies except this champion for 3 turns. Then all allies except this champion will attack one target enemy. Am I reading this right? Hang on, guys. 30% increased crit rate and crit damage, which is big. All allies except this champion, but then he doesn't even attack, but all your allies attack? Hang on, I'm just going to have to read the passive and come back to this. Deflects 20% of all incoming damage to this champion receives onto allies. What the hell? The damage will be spread equally across allies. So, okay, if you get hit with 50k, 10k of it gets spread amongst your allies and he takes 40. Suppose if he's squishy, that's good. Back to the beatdown. The other abilities in this guy don't matter. This only ability that matters to me just now is beatdown. I think, if I'm reading this right, this might be a direct replacement for Longbeard in the Blender comp, because it's increased crit rate and crit damage, which is really what you want. I mean, especially the increased crit rate, because then you could just concentrate on getting good savage gear on all your skull crowns and big guns and stuff. Wow. I'm gonna have to see this guy in action. Is that better than a increased damage by Longbeard? I think so. I think the increased crit damage 30% isn't far off increased. Is it 20% damage with Longbeard? And then crit rate just makes it even better because you can pile more stuff on. Yeah, this is interesting. The only thing that it doesn't say it, that the champions use their default ability, which is quite interesting. Surely it's never going to let you do it with like their A3s, I would think. That's if it does. I mean, it doesn't say champions use their default abilities. Does that just then switch to all your allies and then you just attack that one target? Because if that's the case, then this guy's the best champion in the game suddenly. But that's why I'm thinking, no, that's not the case. It'll just be zoom in and they'll... Maybe it was random now. That would be really cool if it was random. Be a bit hard to control, but you could get champions that could do it. Okay, cool. This guy, I'm going to come back to Fakran the Fat. I think I will be doing a video about this guy if I pull him, because I need to test him out. But he seems very strong to me. Very strong. Right, guys, we'll just crack on. We've got a few more to do. Duck the Pierce. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Is a magic orcs champion. Looks fucking cool again. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing decreased accuracy. Meh, rubbish. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75% 100 when booked of placing a decreased attack and also decreased defense. Oh wow, on his 3-turn cooldown, so that's Stagnite right there. Very strong, super strong. And then his A3 places a provoke debuff for 1 turn on the target enemy. 75% of placing provokes on another 2 enemies. Then reflect damage and unkillable. Increased defense and faction crips. Yeah, that's a good champion again. Wow, these guys are all pretty strong. I mean, that's another good kit. He's got a very good Stagnite kit and a better... He's not got as good an A1 as Stagnite, but he's got an A3 which Stagnite doesn't have, and his A3 is pretty damn good. It's a kind of AoE provoke type-ish thing, but he's got an unkillable on him, so 4-turn cooldown. Very, very strong champion again. That guy's good, and Stagnite's top tier epic for this ability alone, you know? Yeah. Wow. Anyway, Singuina. I think we're just about at the end. There's a lot of epic champions here. Attacks one enemy 3 times, 20% chance of increasing duration of 2 random buffs. Cool. Pretty decent. Places a block debuffs on all allies for 1 turn and a continuous heal for 2 turns. 3-turn cooldown. Seen this quite a bit. I quite like the 2-turn block debuffs better if possible. It's a bit more useful. Sacrificial Lamb. Attacks one enemy, 75% chance of transferring all debuffs from this champion to the target. Removes all debuffs from all allies except this champion. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that seems okay. Increase ally accuracy. I mean, no, not totally sold on this one. It's handy to transfer stuff right enough. It cleanses your guys, which is actually pretty damn good. 4-turn cooldown though. I'm not sure about that one. God, there's still loads more. Old Hermit, Yorg. I like this guy. He's cool. Attacks one enemy, 30% chance of HP burn. Pretty solid. 40% when booked. Places a 50% increase attack buff on all allies and fills turn meter by 20%. Okay, so that's basically yeah, that's an arena-ish kind of. That's Seeker. I think that's exactly what Seeker does actually. And he's got a revive as well. Okay. Fills their turn meters by 40% and places perfect veil buff on them for 2 turns. Solid. Yeah, I like it. There's a lot of kind of crazy sort of abilities going on up and around. So this guy's just straight to the point. He's going to burn you, he's going to put turn meter on, increase attack, and then revive a bunch of people. Perfect Veil as well is pretty strong, 5 turn cooldown. Orcs as well, so orcs struggle for revives in Faction Wars. That was one thing, if you watch my Faction Wars video, I did struggle with the revive for a while because I didn't want to build, oh, what's that champion you get at the start of the game, Shaman or something. So yeah, he's straight up upgrade to her, that's cool. I do like that. Right, we're on the last one, guys. So yeah, sorry, it's been a bit of a long video, but there's a lot of champions to go through here, and so far they've been very, very good, so I'm really chuffed with all these champions coming out. First time I've been really excited about building a bunch of epics, to be honest. Almost more excited about the epics here than the legendaries. Almost. Ugo, very cool avatar again. Attacks one enemy, 35% chance of leech. This chance increases by 5% for each enemy alive. Okay, that's really good. So that's like 55% when all the enemies still alive, or if you're in 60% when you're in PvE. Very cool. Attacks all enemies, AoE, 75% chance of placing decreased defense, also 50% chance of placing block buffs. That chance, so that's 100% for the decreased defense, and you're looking at 75 for the block buffs, but basically in PvE 100% if they're all still alive. So that's massive, decreased defense and block buffs. I don't think we've seen that on an AoE. That's very strong, like super strong. That's not even his A3. What's his A3? Removes all heal reduction debuffs from all allies. Okay. Then removes one random debuff from all allies, heals them. If all allies are dead, revives them with 50% HP and fills their turn meters by 50% instead. Wow. There must be something, some application that puts on heal reduction. I can't think right now, but that seems really, really good. Again, 4 turn cooldown as well, 3 turn cooldown and then 2. He's also got a passive. What's that? Place 30% increased speed buff and block damage buff on this champion whenever this champion's last living ally is killed. 5 turn cooldown. Wow. So you build him super tanky, everyone else dies, boom, he gets block damage, increased speed, gets him background, then he's like, boom, revives everyone. Yeah, he's really good. Ogren actually struggle for revives as well in Faction Wars. This guy will be nuts in Faction Wars. I actually just spent a bunch of resources building a rare champion, which I'm going to do a video, Gear Grinder, of pretty soon for this exact reason, because they didn't have many good revivers, but this guy suddenly just blows him out the water. This guy's nuts, so I'm going to get that video out soon before this guy's released, so I actually get some views on it, because nobody will be building them afterwards. Cool. I like that a lot. I think that's a fantastic group of champions, guys. Really, really cool. If I had to pick my best, I actually think Ugo might be one of the best epics. Between Ugo and... there's too many to choose. Druck's pretty strong. Ursula, actually. Between Ugo and Ursula, they seem very, very strong. Obviously, King Garrock and Roxanne might just be insane if they hit hard. I'm really going to have to try them both out. Yeah, and then obviously there's that ally attack guy, this guy. Fakran the Fat, which might be crazy as well. Yeah, really cool. I've got some more notes down the bottom. Let's just go through this. So we've got the daily login rewards expansion, so we were waiting for this for a while. Daily login rewards are always handy. I don't know why they don't just run this all the time. I don't think we should get happy about this. I think we should only be happy when there's always a daily login reward, because like every other mobile game does it. It's ridiculous. This game, with the amount of money it generates, doesn't. So I'm not happy about that until they actually implement this as a solid thing. But more slots is fantastic. Yep, 200 to 300 slots. Hopefully they don't charge us a shit ton of silver for that, because that would be rubbish. Another 300 artifact storage. Okay, I mean 300 is good. I'd like another 3,000, please. I think really that's what I could do with, especially for artifacts. Yeah, but anything's a bonus right now, so that's good. Clan boss battles will always start in manual mode rather than auto. That is fucking handy. Yeah, that's really, really handy actually. The amount of times I forget it's an auto battle, I'm playing with my unkillable comp, and then he just uses the wrong ability straight away. Then I have to like close the whole application and come back out so they doesn't use a key. It's a pain in the ass. So yeah, really happy with 3.2, guys. This seems very strong. Comes out on Thursday. I'm going to be shooting for the fragment collector because they're usually a bit easier than the actual fusions as such, but I'm not super excited about this guy, so we'll just see what happens. But yeah, happy with this, guys. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel as usual. Any comments about any of these champions, please leave it below. I'd like a discussion on this, especially some of these epics. If I'm missing anything, please don't hesitate to say, but there's a few of them, especially Fakr and the Fat, who might just be incredible. A few of them maybe I'm not quite understanding. But yeah, that's it, guys. So yeah, like I say, like and subscribe, hit that bell button for notification, and have a great day, guys. Peace.